What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me as always, you know the man. He's the great, he's the powerful. It's Adam Obesius Rodriguez. Let's have a round of applause.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tonight's brew is from the Wynwood Brewing Company out of Miami, Florida. We got another one for you, folks. It's the Pops Porter.
Pops Porter.
And Adam will have a little bit more about that after the break. And what we have for you on tap for tonight. Look, listen. We know, okay?
Do we even need to say it?
You know what's going on. We all know what's going on. The end of the world, maybe? Or just the end of the world for women and femme-presenting people. But what can we do about that right now in this moment? Not much. But what we can do for you guys
is drink beer.
And just give you some recommendations on some fun things that we've had going on to kind of block out all the negativity and vile and disgusting things that are happening around the world and at the world at home. So
let us be your solve.
In that vein, it's an Oops All Cheers episode where we just talk about cool shit and doing cool shit and being into cool shit and stuff like that. We're going to try to keep it positive, 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 folks. In the face of reality, we say no.
I don't think I will.
Not today.
No.
Not in this hour. So let's just get right into it. This is episode 360 of the One Beer In Podcast. Do a kickflip.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored.
Is it too cold?
When it's bright
Getting no head.
out. 4 to 5 a.m.
No head retention on that.
Takes me to a place where I fit in.
I don't know. Who knows? Clink it up.
Drink it.
Ooh. Okay.
It's been quite a while since we've had a porter.
Yeah, and I think we're working with a winner on this one. Spoiler alert! I think we're working with a winner on this one. All right. This is the One Beer In Podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. This is episode 360, as I stated before. Thank you guys for listening, drinking delicious beer. Have a beautiful evening. All right, let's go.
See you later. It's all the good stuff we have for you today.
Yeah, exactly. That's all the positivity that we could come up with. Thank you guys for listening, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. Leave a comment below. Leave a comment about the cool shit that you're into.
Yeah.
The cool things that you've been doing.
How are you getting by?
To distract you from the horrific realities of living in America right now.
Living in America.
All right. Obi, you want to tell the people a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
I would love to. And mind you, I mistakenly said that this beer can did not have a cold read. I was wrong.
Oh, I don't think you said that on the show.
I know, but I'm just saying I want to be as honest as I possibly can. So I said it off mic,
revealing private lies.
Yeah,
private lies.
So this is the Wynwood Brewing Pops Porter Robust Porter, and the cold read goes as follows. Pops was retired when I said, "Hey Pops, let's start a brewing company." His response,
"Fuck!
Make me a beer I can enjoy when I'm grilling, and then we can talk." Of course, I hit him with a rich, chocolatey, malty beer and named it after him. Now you can find him at the brewery sharing stories and his dark porter. He's pretty proud of its gold medal, too. Family first. Luis Brignoni. Yeah. And that's, again, out of Wynwood Brewing in Miami, place that I went to not very long ago.
That's cute. That's a cute story.
Yeah, if you guys missed it, we talked a little bit more about the brewery itself when we had...
We did?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Little bit.
I was there.
Okay, all right.
I remember.
Sometimes you don't listen, so you
I
know.
be listening.
But yeah, we talked a little bit about their history, and it seems very family oriented and kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I like that about them.
Yeah.
And the beer's not bad either.
Well, his dad seems like a man after my own heart. He said, "Make me a beer," and the first thing he thought of was a chocolatey porter, which
Yeah.
I appreciate.
To have while you grill.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Man after your own heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, let's get into some. Oh, I guess I can tell the story about the audition because I didn't get it.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I'm sorry.
No, it's no big deal.
But yes, please let the people know.
So so my cousin Robin, he's in film school right now, and they had a contest amongst all the students in the class to write a script, a short film, and who's ever got voted the best would be made into a movie, a short film. That's redundant. But so everybody did one. Robin's was pretty good. Unfortunately, didn't get chosen. Sorry, love you. But this other kid's story got chosen, and I mean, I don't know how many details I can reveal about the film itself. I mean, they didn't tell me that it was super secret or anything. It's not a fucking Marvel movie.
You didn't sign an NDA?
I didn't sign an NDA,
No.
so whatever. It's a really cool concept, and it's a short film about a guy.
Well, don't reveal. Don't reveal.
Okay.
Because I'm sure they want there to be
Okay, well, it's an
surprises
interesting
and stuff, yeah.
short film.
Do you know the name of it?
The Attack of Jack.
The Attack of Jack.
Yeah.
So that'll probably become a thing eventually.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully something. I mean, you know, whatever. They didn't choose me, so maybe the movie never comes out. Who gives a fuck? No. It was a fun opportunity. My cousin, he comes to me and he says, we're doing this short film thing. I think you should audition for it. And I was like, cool. What's the script? You know, I mean, of course, I would love the opportunity to just do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't just get thrown across your desk like that. So he gives me the casting call, and the guy's looking for a 16 to 20-year-old Irish, white, and I don't just mean white, on the casting call, it's pale, sunken in skin, because the guy, loosely, I can say, is suffering from something, an affliction of some sort, or maybe not. That's kind of the point of the movie.
Sure.
And so
Psychological thriller, if you will.
right, and he brings this to me, or he sends this to me, and I'm like, hey man, you know I'm literally the exact opposite of this casting call, right? I'm old, washed up, brown, and round.
Yeah.
Like
You gotta get that friction down.
And he's like, nah, it's all good, man. And I'm like, no, it's not, because that's not how Hollywood works. They want a certain look.
Sure.
You don't just...
They put those details there so they get what they're looking for.
Right.
What they had in mind, at least.
So week goes by. He texts me again, and he's like, hey, so you gonna come in for the... And I was like, no. Because I'm not going to come in and make a fool out of myself.
Right.
I'm going to walk in, and there's going to be like 18 white guys, 16 to 20-year-old, and I'm going to walk in like, no, I'm not coming in. And he tells me that they've expanded the casting call to basically anybody who could knock out the role at this point. Excuse me. So I said, cool. I think I can do this, because he let me read some of it ahead of time, and I was like, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
So I go in, and it was like a real deal. Like, it wasn't just
Casting call.
Yeah. They had the camera set up. The director, one of the producers, and the writer were there, and they had me do a monologue from the short film, which was kind of not fair. I don't really know. I don't have any experience auditioning for movies.
Sure.
But usually an actor gets the script ahead of time and is able to kind of work on how they want to deliver the performance, right?
Yeah.
This was kind of just handed to me, and they were like, this is how we want this to go. Here's like 10 minutes. Figure it out.
Yeah. I feel like that's pretty common for short films and student films.
Yeah.
That everything is such tight pace.
Yeah.
And you know, they can rarely send out stuff to like an agent to give to their talent, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They would have had to send it to you.
yeah, sure. One beer in LLC.
Yeah. So we do that. I come in, and I deliver what I think is the performance of a lifetime, and they were like, "That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Here's some direction. How about you go at it again?" And I took the feedback, internalized it, cried a little because I was like, I thought I did great, but
It's part of the process. Yeah.
took another swing at it. They're like, that one was better. Like what you did there. Here's a little bit more feedback. Internalized that. Cried some more.
Sure.
Took another swing at it, and like, I mean, the third one, dude. I really fucking.
You went there?
I went there.
Nice.
I got to a place, and they were like really impressed. I'm gonna gush over myself for a second, and I don't mean to sound arrogant, but this is just what they told me. Okay, so I'm gonna sit here and talk a little bit of shit, but this is what they said to me. I'm not. This is, you know what I mean. So one of the guys was sitting there, the producer. He hadn't said a word to me until the third go around, and he says, You've got. I can hear the emotion in your voice. You're delivering the lines really well. I need to see it in your face. I need to see the anger. I need to see, like they told me, you know, you're at a 7. You need to go past the 7.
Sure.
I was like, I can go past the 7. I've been past the 7. So I said, all right. And I took my glasses off, real dramatic, right? Threw them on the desk, and they were like, oh, he took his glasses off. I was like, we're going there. And then I just went there, and I could see, like, I'm trying to just, because it's a movie where the character breaks the fourth wall a lot. He's going to be talking directly at the camera, so I'm trying to look directly at the camera, but you know, they're sitting right under the camera, so it's hard not to see them. I'm trying not to pay attention to them, but
Sure.
take a quick glance down, and I can see like they're into it, right? Do it, finish it up, and they're like, that was really good for a person who's doesn't have acting experience.
Right.
I mean, all I've done is a drama class and some improv classes. Like, that's it. And they were like, for a person who has no real acting experience, that was a really, really good performance. And, you know, I took that and I was like, you know what? I don't actually have to be in the movie. Like, just hearing the feedback.
That's enough. Yeah. This was worth the trip.
Yeah. And it was all worth it after that. So they, you know, they were really nice. But then I was like, you know, maybe they were just being nice because I was there and they're students. They're not, you know, I wasn't sitting in front of fucking Scorsese or anything. It's not like, you know, they could have been mean, but they also didn't have to be mean, right?
I guess so.
So I go home. Robin he comes home later, and he was like, dude, man, you knocked it out of the park. They fucking loved it.
Nice.
They loved it. They were like, they asked him, they're like, where do you keep finding these people? And he's like, that's my cousin. He's like, that's your fucking cousin?
Yeah.
He's like, you need to bring him back. They said, basically, I was the understudy to the guy that they had in mind, who is an established actor. And they eventually went with him, which is why I still have a beard, because they asked if I would shave the beard. And I said, yeah, of course I would.
Sure.
Of course I would. To be in a fucking movie, of course I would shave the beard. And I told people, like, if I have a beard next week, I didn't get it. So,
and here you are.
Here I am.
Yeah.
So
That's a victory in itself, though.
keeping the beard?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't want to shave the beard.
Yeah.
I got scared, like, once it became almost a reality that I got it, I was like, oh no. And I started looking at my face, and I was like, I haven't shaved fully since like 2015.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's under there anymore.
Just where you shave and they're like, no.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you know what? We made a mistake.
This is not going to work out.
We made
Sorry.
a mistake. Yeah. So they ended up going with the guy, which I assumed that they would. But one of the other guys, the director, actually, he was like, I'm writing something and I want to use him for it. So I might still be in something. So
Him
who
being
knows?
you.
Huh?
Him being you.
Him being me. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So all in all, it was really, it was just like a fun thing to do, and I told myself, like, because I was a little nervous about it, and I was like, do I even want to do this? And then I thought, well, I'm just sitting at the house, and I'm like,
why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good. It's good that you put yourself out there, because acting is one of those things that if you're not used to it, can be very like disarming and like, you know, just kind of exposing in a way, emotionally exposing.
It is. It really is emotionally
you feel
exposing.
naked up there if you have to deliver an emotional scene.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it wasn't like a monologue of my choosing. It was a scene from the movie, and without giving away details of the film, it starts off. He's just kind of delivering these lines. He's speaking, and he's like reminiscing on his childhood, and there's a lot of abuse involved, and it's a dark movie. It's a really, really dark. And
it sounds like an Aronofsky movie.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what this guy's going for.
Yeah.
And then there's a rise in it. He gets angry, and then it kind of falls back down, and you kind of have to settle for a second. So a lot of, you know, so it was challenging, but it was like, I don't know, man. It kind of like awoken something. I was like, man, I kind of hope that they do call me back, and I do want to do more shit like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, even though you didn't get this one, it could lead the way to something that's more tailor made for you, you know, and be even better.
I'm trying to see if I can get my hands on that tape.
Yeah, why not?
Make myself a little real.
Why not?
You know,
it wouldn't hurt,
right?
And you have 360 episodes of a podcast in which you're showing your vocal chops, and not to mention your music, obviously.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole thing.
You got a whole you got a
song and dance man.
There you go. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is very, very cool. I obviously only have experience on the other side of that process.
Yeah.
Even just
maybe
a little bit.
We could do our own Jack Attack. Or Attack of Jack. No, we'll call it Jack Attack.
Jack Attack. It's like when Deep Impact and Armageddon come out.
Yeah,
exactly. Steal the idea.
As soon as their movie drops, ours comes in. Jack Attack. They're like, wait.
Dante's Peak and what was the other one? The other volcano movie.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Or what was the Protect the President movies?
Oh yeah, of course. Something.
Olympus Has Fallen. And then what was the
White
other
House
one?
Down?
White House Down.
Is that what it is?
That was it. That was it.
I mean, even the names are similar.
so silly for them to be like one. It's just really interesting because they're just massive machines that are going in a direction, and then some producer they're like, you know, that they got a Channing Tatum movie coming out, and it's like almost the same exact fucking movie.
Yeah.
And they're all going, I mean, well, we can't stop now. We're like 3 months into production. Like, what are we supposed to do? Just chop the movie because their fucking movie's coming out? But then,
of course not.
But it's just really funny that in a town as small as L.A. or Hollywood, rather, that 2 movies get made by 2 major studios, and not one person is like, you know, like right down the street, they're doing the same fucking movie, right?
Well, it's funny because I am only speculating here, but it's probably because they have these scripts just waiting in a vault. You know, they're like, we have a asteroid movie. We have a script for one. Let's put it out now. Yeah. And then that word gets around town. Everyone's seen that asteroid movie script flying around. So they're like, hey, Armageddon's happening. It is going to be huge. Let's jump on that.
Oh, you think one of these studios is like, let's just ride the coattails?
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe they even get lucky and there's like, okay, they got Armageddon. Let's get the other asteroid movie out there.
Yeah.
The other script that's floating around.
Yeah.
Because we know we can get option B if we want it. So while it becomes a thing, let's ride that wave a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I could see that. I think
that's
how
way
that
more
works.
plausible than one guy writes a script and then like 6 weeks later, another guy's like, I had this crazy idea. You'll never believe it.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but I'm pretty sure it's more calculated than that. They're like, there's going to be a Michael Bay movie about X, Y, or Z. All right, let's do something similar to that.
Yeah. It just, to me, it's just, I can understand seeing like these weird Amazon movies pop up when like a major studio makes a movie like that, and then like some indie movie that just goes straight to Amazon. I can understand that, but it's just weird to see like Columbia Pictures and then New Line Cinema making the same fucking movie. Yeah. And one of them had to, I mean, like you're saying, I like this theory. So one of them is already in their starting production. They've already got the go ahead, they've got the actors, they got the budget, and then word gets around town, and then New Line's like, I mean, shit, we got that other fucking president movie and then just sitting there.
And it's funny because it becomes like a race, It's like who can make the movie first? Yeah. Because unlike like, I don't know, video games or something, I think exclusively video games, they're like super secretive in production, right? It's like there are rumors and speculations about the next Hideo Kojima game. Yeah. And with movies, it's like, no. As soon as the script is greenlit to get into production, like everyone knows. Yeah. For the most part, unless it's like a Marvel thing or a Star Wars thing or whatever. But for the most part, it's like, no, that's part of the industry. Like like years and years ahead of time before the movie comes out that this thing is being worked on. Even sometimes as soon as the script is being written. Like it's like, okay, so this is it.
One of them has to be going, we're gonna ride this out and wait for their movie to come out, and then we'll watch the performance. And well, no, because they have to have already scheduled their movie to come out, so they're gonna hope that the first Protect the President movie comes out and it's great and people love it, and then 3 months later they have to hope that the audience is like, you know what, I just didn't get enough of that Protect the President vibe.
And that's the thing, like I am curious about the strategy behind it because it doesn't seem smart. You're clogging the marketplace of the same idea generally.
Seems like opening your Subway next to my Subway.
Right. So I don't know. I feel like it's more of like, oh, that's actually a good idea. Let's roll with something similar and get it out before they get theirs out.
Because I couldn't imagine, because now those movies are on streaming services, and I watched them. I watched them solely because I thought it was hilarious that they both came out around the same time, not because I was interested in anyone involved. Yeah. And I couldn't imagine at the time going to the theater for both of those movies. It was one or the other, and it ended up being neither, but I wasn't going to go watch both of them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much do you like the idea of the president being in peril and then one lone Marine or former cop or whatever protecting him for an hour and a half?
Yeah, tier 1 specialist is in there to save the day.
Now, I will say, any movie involving nondescript spec ops guy on a one-man hell path, I'm on board with.
Sure.
That's why I really, really liked Extraction. No matter what people say about like the script or how good the movie was itself, blah blah blah.
There's really not been much or many detractors from what I've seen for Extraction because it is that undeniably good of an action movie.
Right.
You know what you're getting. It doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is.
The only reason I even said that was because I saw a tweet that was talking about all the actors in the Marvel movies post Marvel movie success because Chris Hemsworth has said, I guess he said in a recent interview that he was like, I'm going to play Thor until they fucking kick me out of the studio. And people were like, well, yeah, of course he is. It's his most successful role. He hasn't had a lot of success outside of it. And then other people were like, he has had plenty of success. Extraction just came out. It got a sequel, and he's going to be in some other movie. I guess they're doing another Mad Max movie, and he's going to be in it. I didn't know about that until I saw the tweet, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I know they're doing like a prequel about Furiosa. Literally.
Oh yeah, the Furiosa. Yes, that's right. So maybe he's in that. He has to be in that. That's the only Mad Max vehicle.
Well, just because he's Australian, he has an obligation.
He has to. Yeah. It's kind of like the Israelis with their military service. Like,
Yeah,
it has to be
your,
in a Mad
your
Max
mandated time in
Yeah.
a Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, other people were talking shit about like how he hasn't had a lot of success, and some people were talking shit about Extraction. Other people were like, Extraction's awesome, and we are thoroughly on that.
I don't know how you can not enjoy that movie for what it is.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
It is what it is, and it's really great at what it is. It's kind of how we review beers, you know. Like, if it does what it set out to do, then
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It's not some avant-garde art house movie.
No.
It's a fucking dumb action flick. Balls to the wall. Hour 45 of just.
I don't even think it's that dumb. I think it's just very simple. You know, like it's very streamlined and aggressive in its storytelling, which I enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, dumb in that. Like, there's just no way this guy would actually accomplish like what he does in that movie.
But I've seen plenty of far dumber movies. Is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They at least have some hints at, like, you know, his inner turmoil and, you know, a little hint at backstory and things
I
like
see what
that.
you're saying.
It's not
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, this is idiotic.
Yeah.
Like, they
Right,
touch
right.
on
There's
stuff.
there's a little gravitas to
Yeah, there's
it.
enough. There's
Yeah.
enough. There's enough for you to go, okay, let's keep this thing rolling.
I mean, honestly, his backstory's kind of dumb too.
Sure. I
just
mean,
like,
yeah. It's,
what, kid died of cancer, or wife died of cancer, or wife left him because
Wrong
the kid
kid
died
died.
of cancer. You know, just one of those, like, you know, what is dragging him down right
but that
now?
is enough. That's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough
yeah.
to go, okay,
Yeah.
I see why he's doing this. Why
Yeah.
he feels so dedicated to saving this kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, you do need that motivation, because
Yes.
it doesn't really make sense without the backstory that he is risking life and limb,
Right.
other than the Call of Duty.
Right.
And,
Modern Warfare 2
yeah.
coming
Save
out.
the Indian kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, all right, yeah. Anyway,
And that's been Extraction, one reel in.
speaking of one reel in, you want to talk about some movies and stuff we've been enjoying?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, getting from the audition part
Yeah.
of this pod, that was just one thing that I did that brought me great joy.
Right.
Have you done anything that has brought you great joy, or do you want to just get into the media that we've been consuming?
Well, I feel like that's a big deal of what's been giving me joy lately.
Yeah.
That's all I've really had, folks.
It's have you ever seen that video of that guy, the girl, she turns off his PlayStation and he goes, no, why? And she goes, it's all you do. And he goes, it's all I have. And it's the most, I still to this day cannot tell if it was staged or not.
Yeah.
How convincing. He like throws his headset off and he's like, it's all I have. And you're like, Jesus, dude.
Yes.
I feel that.
Welcome to a committed relationship, folks. Kidding.
course.
But yeah, no, I essentially, I've especially how tumultuous.
You got it the first time. You already nailed it.
Tumultuous. Yeah,
You did it.
tumultuous.
Now
Homunculus.
you're burying, digging that hole.
Funkadelic. Yeah. How awful the state of the world has been as of recent. You know, I've really been digging my head in the sand a little bit. I know that's not really what you should be doing in times of upheaval, but you know, you need a break sometimes.
Yeah.
So
You keep fighting the good fight, but there's moments where you have to go.
you got to,
need
yeah.
to-
We've
I
talked
need
about
to
this in the past,
unplug.
but even if you're on the front lines of whatever struggle's going on at the time, you need to take a little bit of me time, a
Yeah.
little bit of time of reflection, and I mean, even just time to absorb yourself into content, which I've been doing. So I have, you know, it was kind of a the very minuscule amount of fuck you money I have in comparison to others. I spent on the, as the Americans would say, Akira graphic novels, manga, if you will.
manga.
Akira.
The Akira manga.
So it's a collection of all 6 books of the Akira series that
I'm just translating
thank
for
you.
the whites.
That you may know from the movie that came out. That is an animation classic.
Classic.
I mean, don't even put a note that it's a classic of anime. It's just a animation classic.
Just just straight up masterpiece.
Yeah. So I was always intrigued by it because it makes not a lot of sense. In all honesty, it's really cool looking, and you kind of get the idea of a plot, but it doesn't really all add up to a whole lot of sensical storytelling.
No, it's kind of all over the place.
So I had always heard that the manga is the way to go if you want to know about the story, and boy howdy it is. I have in the past like a week maybe flown through 2 of the books, about midway through the 3rd book, so I'm almost halfway through the entire series so far, and it's been like all I've been reading.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because it took me away from Dr. Sleep, which I was like, nose in book for a long time. Now that's my side girl.
Okay.
I'm reading Dr. Sleep on the side. And also I'm because I also paired the audiobook with The Shining. I'm doing that with Dr. Sleep too. So while I'm unable to read it, I will listen to the Audible audiobook and pick up where I left off. So anyway, I mean, if you are a fan of sci-fi, if this is, your very first manga ever, I can't recommend it highly enough, at least where we stand today.
Yeah.
Midway through, it is, just such an easy, like, fast read that keeps you turning the pages. Very deep, very complex storytelling wise, but again, it fills in a lot of the gaps that the movie doesn't have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just think this is in a weird way similar to how the movie ended up. It is a welcoming, it's like a welcome mat for you to jump into another type of storytelling.
Yeah.
So that's the movies for animation. This is for manga. Please enjoy.
Do you think that Akira would have worked better given how much you've read the manga? Would it have worked better as like a 3 or 4 part limited series as opposed to an anime movie?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no question. I think the only problem was given because mind you, the movie itself was hand drawn. Like,
yeah.
That, I mean, the amount of work is infamous that they put into the movie.
And it shows.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. So
you just can't overstate how fucking cool it looks, man.
Yeah. It's
just,
so
you don't need to
fluid.
understand anything about it. It just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. It's like the level of detail and the depth of animation that everything has. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to stuff like that was out at the same time, like in the 80s, if you look at that compared to like G.I. Joe,
yeah,
like
yeah,
what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
completely different. So as sort of a testament to how tough it was for them to make, like, I just don't think they would have had the manpower or money to do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would love to have seen it, but I can definitely see, like, okay, we have to cut this thing down, even to the detriment of the narrative, because we just can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and now look, you can look at it and say, I mean, it's a classic, the masterpiece, born out of its limitations.
Sure.
It's financial and just physical limitations of the time. Now, like you said, though, to the detriment of the actual story.
Yeah.
But kind of takes on a life of its own. It's an entirely different thing.
Yeah, it almost comes off as more of like an art house piece, the way it stands.
Yeah.
It's like it's very left up to your interpretation why people are doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
or like what this technology is, what the sort of supernatural elements are all about.
Yeah,
they kind of
How do all these things coexist in the same universe?
Yeah, the politics of it all, because it kind of has everything. Like it's a semi-post-apocalyptic story.
Yeah.
That's also on the verge of another apocalypse, so it's very weird.
Yeah.
But also obviously has a lot of reflection to, you know, real life Japan.
Yeah.
Post-war. So there's I mean, again, here I am, I'm like rambling, but it's because it's such a rich narrative.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a ton to get out of it. I mean, honestly, I kind of want to. I feel like by the end of this, as long as like they don't drop the ball, which I don't think they will, I think this is going to be a perfect vehicle for people to get into manga.
Yeah.
You know, so
if nothing else, just look up the Akira bike skid scene, and then just look up how many people use that.
Yeah.
Your mind will explode when you realize just how many different pieces of media took that one scene.
Yeah.
When I saw a smash cut of how many different things used it.
There's a GIF of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and it went on for like
A while.
longer than you can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, from SpongeBob to fucking other martial arts movies to, I mean, everyone.
Yeah. Iconic shot.
Fucking Homer Simpson. I think they do it in one of the Simpsons openings. It's just and and it's funny you say iconic shot, but it's hand drawn and a hand drawn iconic. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. I want to get back to something because I thought of this question while you were talking, and then I just stopped paying attention to everything that you said for the past 20 minutes.
I saw it. I saw it in your eyes.
No, I wonder, as an avid reader that that you are, do you think that audiobooks are cheating?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because it is one step removed from you having this sounds silly, but having a certain level of control over your imagination. So the way that somebody reads something is almost as important as the words they're reading. So when you act as your own internal narrator, I think there is a certain level of impression that it gives on your brain, as opposed to just hearing somebody read it to you. It's not like cheating as far as to the level of watching the movie instead of the book, but I think it is a little bit of a cheat code. Now, I think it's a helpful cheat code for somebody like me who's trying to consume a lot more media than just a book. If I only had a book to keep me entertained, then, I wouldn't bother with an audiobook. I would just read the book whenever I'm bored. But, I have video games, I have movies, I have music, I have
all these things,
podcasts. They're like, I want for nothing when it comes for entertainment. But that leads me to have to find time for certain pieces of media that I do want to consume. So, part of that is Audible.com, our sponsor today. Only on Audible.com. Can you?
That's good, though. That was, I mean, if they actually were a sponsor, it was good.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Mark Maron, so he'll be talking about like the end of times, and then just be like, well,
right into
Squarespace.
Yeah, one day.
Let's play guitar.
We'll hit the 10-year mark, and then that's when we'll get sponsors.
Yeah. We'll see.
Old and gray.
Worth the wait.
Hey, sponsors Squarespace.
I like Depends.
Oh, he likes Squarespace.
Squarespace for my teeth.
Square paste.
Yeah.
Square paste.
Yeah. But yes, so I do think it's cheating, but do I care? Not really, because it helps me get through the content I like to consume.
Yeah.
And, again, as long as I'm paying attention, it's not far off from reading.
What about when you're listening to an audiobook read by the author? Are you being guided too much? Or, I mean, because it's like listening to an album, right? You're listening to the way that the thing was intended to be read or heard, rather, right?
Yes and no. Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. An author is not necessarily a performer. So sometimes, even if they get the inflection right, even if they, have their intended pauses and all these little things that they had in mind as they were writing it, can they effectively perform that as a narrator? Sometimes not. So I prefer when there is a voice actor who's been trained in voice acting doing the narration.
Yeah.
Or just an actor. I know Dr. Sleep is actually narrated by an actor that it's one of those guys,
Yeah.
I can't remember his name exactly.
That guy.
He's a that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely that guy. So that adds a level of like, shine to the no pun intended to the story, because you can kind of picture it better, and obviously he has acting chops. Like you can hear him performing when somebody's in distress or yelling or whatever. You can hear his chops. So I appreciate that. I like that. And even a step further, I like, because one of the first audiobooks I ever listened to was the Dune audiobook, which again I can't recommend enough if you're a first time Dune reader, because there are plenty of things that you will not pronounce correctly.
Yeah.
So at least for like the first quarter of the book, I actually recommend that than reading it. But that one actually has like in between chapters like this mood music to kind of get you into the scene, and if I'm not mistaken, even occasional like sound effects and stuff.
See, that's a different experience altogether.
Yeah, it's almost like a show, like
Yeah.
a audio show,
Like a radio show.
radio show. That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's a different thing altogether. 'Cause you got sound effects and you got all that, turns it into an actual show.
Yeah, like a
instead of-
production.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. it gets me to focus a little more. It kind of, in a way, gets me in the mood. They're trying to set for you as the reader, and again, as like a propulsive force for me to get through the entire Dune book, which is a thick girl. It kind of rang in my head as I was continuing to read it. The music, the voices they use, and I think in that one actually you have different actors playing different roles.
Yeah.
So like it's not just like a 40-year-old man speaking as a child.
A wee little boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
My ass.
I've over time become more pro audio book.
Nice.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm pro audiobook because I'm lazy, but not just because I'm lazy. I mean, also there's the advantage of somebody pronouncing the words that maybe you weren't familiar with, which, the only reason my vocabulary is the way that it is because of books. And the only reason I mispronounce words as much as I do is because of books, reading things and not hearing them, but only reading them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is a certain level of this person is now guiding your imagination. And I think for me personally, listening to an audiobook actually kind of slows the pace, which is good because I tend to rush through books because I want to finish them. Not because of the anxiety of it, but just because like I get really I just get really antsy. I guess that is anxiety. I'm just calling it a different word.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get through it, and I speed read unintentionally.
Right.
And then sometimes I miss things and I have to go back. When there's an audiobook, it goes at a very nice, normal, nominal pace that like I have to just sit through. And I don't fuck with the speed of it. I don't put it on 1.25 or whatever. I let it go. And, you can really kind of take in what's being said. But at the same time, it is distracting when there's like when the narrator's not that good, or when you're distracted by their voice, and you can't. I mean, unless you really hate yourself, you can't be distracted by your own voice, the voice in your head. Rather, you can hear the audio of your own voice and hate that, but the voice in your head, I mean, you gotta really hate yourself, which people do. I get that, you know. I've hated myself from time to time.
Who does it? Who among us is
Who
not?
among us hasn't hated themselves? But yeah, so I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's tough. Is it ableist for us to say that it's cheating?
Well, you know, that is part of the conversation, I guess. Because, you know, obviously some people can't read the words on the page. So
Right. I guess it... Okay, let me rephrase that question. That's a rhetorical question. It is certainly ableist for us to say that it's cheating. But you know what we mean. You know what I mean.
sure.
Okay, this is what I mean. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm not saying that...
I'm not racist.
I got blind friends. I got deaf friends.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that cheating is probably the wrong word.
True.
You can enjoy things however you want to enjoy them. But you know there's a different experience between reading something on the page. And unfortunately, if you can't see, you just can't read the thing on. But you have Braille. So
Yeah.
that's basically reading.
Oh, no.
It's reading.
It certainly is reading.
I'm going to stop this.
Yeah.
And just move on.
Yeah. I think it's probably best. I think that's probably best.
Just get out of here.
Yeah,
Off,
yeah.
on that one.
Skirt, skirt.
All right. Enjoy your books however you want to enjoy them. It's your life. Certainly don't need anyone telling you how to enjoy a book. Okay. 'Cause
Well,
you
okay.
already have enough people telling you how to.
Let me dip a pinky toe in the ableist conversation.
Sure.
Okay. As somebody with at least some level of
Disability?
ADHD. ADHD. Well, yeah, I guess technically, yes. I don't know if my back disability counts as a detriment to my reading, but you know that too.
I can't sit. I can't read.
Yeah. It's been that bad before. But what I meant to say was, as somebody who struggles with keeping attention, I will say audiobooks tend to be a better solution than reading the page.
Yeah.
It keeps my attention longer than just sitting down with a book
Yeah.
in hand.
This is why you have to consume so many different forms of media. You just can't be sat with one thing for too long.
Yeah, no, that's definitely part of it. And I mean, I've struggled even with this wealth of media to consume, you know.
I thought you were about to say, I've struggled with this podcast.
Yeah, this podcast too. Right in if you struggle with this podcast. No, but like
This is a struggle podcast.
just sitting down and reading a book in silence, oftentimes, unless you put on mood music, like I was saying before,
Yeah.
can be hard if you have ADHD. But if you have almost like a radio show, like we were talking about before, it definitely keeps your attention more than just sitting there quietly reading a book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, not to say that's an end-all, be-all solution, because, you know, God knows I've been listening to an Audible audiobook and drifted off into my own thought and been like, okay, 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Got it. So it still happens, but I'm just saying, you know, maybe half as often
Yeah.
as just reading the book. So,
Yeah.
you know.
At the end of the day, the audiobook is just like, it's just way more convenient, man. It's just so much better.
sure.
It's just so much easier. I've gotten through books now in my car, just
Yeah.
to and fro. Well, not to and fro, to and from. To and fro would be a different thing. See, this is what happens when you read and don't really understand what you're reading.
Well, to and fro means back and forth.
What to and fro?
It's
Like-
just a fancy way to say it.
Yeah,
It's frilly.
feels frilly. Yeah, this is what happens when you read. Don't read.
Yeah, don't read.
Don't read. Just listen to audiobooks.
Just listen to this podcast.
Just listen to this podcast, and you'll hear words mispronounced. You'll hear words used incorrectly.
yeah.
And
Ableism.
and ableism.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know what more you want out of a show.
Yeah.
I think we've checked all the boxes.
Every single one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be featured on fucking American News Network in no time.
Sure. That's what we're going for.
I mean, if they're paying. I will whore my body out.
Please.
I don't care anymore.
Please, no.
I don't care.
No.
I will lead this podcast into the future. Okay? And that future is white.
Okay. Wow.
Did you see that thing? Maybe we shouldn't do that. I was just that clip of that politician where she's like, she thanked Donald Trump for protecting white life, and I know she misspoke, and everyone's like, she misspoke. But that didn't stop the people from cheering.
That was going to be my point. The people still cheer for white life.
For white life. So that's what we're protecting here on this podcast. White life.
The best is yet to come.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into. I'm just so excited I can't even contain myself. Okay,
You just can't hide it.
I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it.
Like it.
No, it's not that 80s song. It's an even better 80s song. It's Highway to the Danger Zone. And if we're talking about Highway to the Danger Zone, then we can only be talking about one film. A cinematic masterpiece. Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
It took me a little minute to finally go to the cinema.
Yes.
To go see it because I missed the window of opportunity for actually multiple friends. You, then Steve, then a friend of mine, Nate. Like I missed the window for multiple friends to go see it.
Yeah.
And then I finally was just like, I had a day off, and I was like, you know what?
You gotta do it yourself.
Yeah. And you know, it was fine. I had a nice time. Just sat there, fucking enjoyed it, and I was, you know, it was good. So the movie itself. First of all, as improbable as it may be, this film was in I wouldn't call it development hell, but it had been talked about for years. They wanted to do this movie for a really long time.
Well, again, I mean, funny enough, we talked about it before, but the script was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Like they had figured out the general story beats, and then I think they finally were like, okay, now's the time. Let's get this thing in production. And I think they had, I'm not sure if McQuarrie ended up coming in later or was there from the very beginning. But interesting fact, that's your Mission Impossible connection right there.
Yep.
So
Boom, boom.
they can't miss together is
They
all I'm
can't
saying.
miss.
But more so even than development hell, it was actually debut hell.
In hell.
It was in hell. It was burning in hell.
In hell.
No, it was debut hell because obviously the coronavirus happened.
That did.
So they were left in this quandary, like many a film that was slated to come out in the past 2 years ended up in. And I think after seeing it, they made the very wise decision of holding off until it was clear enough for people to go back to the movies and see it. And see it they did.
Oh, yeah. This movie is doing numbers.
It is tied for first place today. Like this past weekend.
Yeah.
Even with every movie that's come out recently, every like wanted to be blockbuster, it's still there. You're
welcome, TC.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so good. It's kind of hard to put into words like how much they nailed it.
Yeah.
It's like watching a sequel to any of his other movies in 2022 and going like how a sequel to Top Gun working is as improbable as any of his movies getting a sequel working.
It's like getting a Roadhouse sequel working.
Right.
You know?
Any of those movies were it's like watching a Jerry Maguire Part 2. And then you're like, oh, he owns his own like sports agent company.
Right.
And he's got a, you know, he's got some young athlete that he's got to manage, and he's also managing, quote unquote, his relationship with blah 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 blah, whatever. I'm writing a terrible movie, but you know what I mean. It's like watching that movie and going, holy fuck, that movie was actually good. There's no way that it could actually be good.
Yeah.
And it is.
Let alone better than the original.
Yeah.
Which I sit here, my friends, and tell you, it is better than the original.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
If you think of the list of sequels that are better than the original movies, the list is short.
Probably count them on 2.5 hands, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of them. I mean, easily, in my opinion. I'm sure there'll be some people who say no.
I just don't see how you could.
I don't see how you can. Yeah. I mean,
them having to wait for this long to make this movie was actually perfect because Miles Teller as Goose's son.
You choking up? You choking up right now?
It makes me emotional.
Yeah.
To think about how perfectly cast he is.
You know, say what you will about Miles Teller, he's great in this movie.
He's
and
fantastic
I think he's perfectly cast. Yeah.
Perfectly cast.
I don't think they could have found anyone better for that role.
He's so good.
Yeah.
So good in this.
Yep.
I mean, everyone just shows up, man. Even Val Kilmer can't even fucking talk anymore.
Yeah.
And he shows up and
Still
he's
killing it.
He's crushing it.
Incredible.
Such a good scene.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene.
That scene gave me the warm and fuzzies.
Yes, when they actually, I didn't think that they were actually going to use him. I thought
we should say spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yikes.
Oh my god.
We're talking about Top Gun Maverick. What are you doing? Hi.
Are you talking about Miles Teller?
We were talking about Miles Teller. How did you know?
He looks so nice in that.
He does. I mean, he's shredded.
Yeah.
This scene
The
when they're on the
entire
beach.
cast is
Oh
shredded.
yeah, everyone's shredded.
Yeah.
Even the daughter is shredded.
Oh yeah. The teenager?
Yeah, teenager.
Teenage daughter is
She's
shredded.
shredded, dude. The motorcycle's shredded.
The motorcycle, all the jets are shredded.
The jets are actually shredded.
Sure.
They're like beefed up, you know.
Yeah.
And that's part of the
But they're
charm
not
of
Gen
the
6s.
No, they're not. Well, they're not Gen 5s.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Gen 5, which I love that they're just like you guys are either going to understand this or you're not.
Well, no, not even. They make it so dumb that anyone can get it.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
you're like,
you don't even know
a Gen 5 must be better than a Gen 4.
Yeah. Well, because they don't give you any other information. So they're like, this is all we're going to give you. So all
Right.
you can do is make sense of the fact that, like, we have older planes. This mysterious body of terrorists has better planes.
Right.
But only one generation above. So they're like, the plane itself is better than anything that we have. So you, as a pilot, need to be better than... boy. You, as a pilot, needs to be better than the plane that they have. The technology that they have has advanced.
Well, I was going to say that they said, you know, it's not the I forget exactly what they said. It's not the plane. It's the pilot.
It's not the bark. It's the bite.
Oh, it's no, it's not the no. It's not.
You can take the girl out of Texas.
It's not the box, but it's the person in the box. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think I think it's dumber than that. I think it's way simpler. I think they say that it's not the plane, it's the pilot. Something to that. They say it a little more poetically, but it's basically just
that's what it boils down to.
It's not the plane, it's the pilot in the box or something like that. Or the man or woman in the box.
The person in the box.
Which is funny because they keep saying man or woman.
Yeah.
Which I really thought was funny because like all these articles that had come out when the movie came out was like TC doesn't go woke and that's why the movie's awesome. And it's like that is certainly not why the movie is awesome.
You know how they got away with that take though was because they sneered at it the first time they did it.
Yeah.
Where the douchebag character was like, oh, sorry, or woman.
Yeah.
You know, and so all the boomers were like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, see that, and there was no like female character who was like in charge of anything. I think if say Val Kilmer's character was actually a woman and Val Kilmer just made like a cameo, then people would be like, here we go with another fucking woman in charge.
Well, and there was that entire pseudo controversy. I don't even give it the respect of calling it a controversy, but a pseudo controversy about them not bringing back the original actress from the first one, his love interest. But
dog,
listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
Did anyone watch the first Top Gun thinking that they were gonna make it?
Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no.
They were a fling.
Yeah.
They were a hot fling.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Did you see that tongue action? Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do that with your future wife?
No.
No, you don't. Maybe that's just this is my judgment call. But I mean, I just think it is so stupid to think that it makes any sense for those characters to still be together.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Well, and I mean, you can't bring everybody back.
No,
like, you know, you bring Meg
no.
Ryan back just for her to walk across the screen. You know.
No, absolutely not.
Also, Jennifer Connelly, bro.
Oh my
Jennifer Connelly, bro.
Looking great.
She looks amazing.
Yeah,
and she always has.
yeah.
Jennifer Connelly. Respectfully,
a forever babe.
I mean, she could get it today,
My God.
tomorrow.
I was gonna say all of that, but
Hey, I said respectfully.
Okay.
Respectfully.
Sure.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly could get it twice on Sunday.
yeah. I mean, she looks phenomenal in this film. Yeah.
Swing.
Swing.
Major babe.
Yeah.
Major babe alert.
Major babe alert.
Major babe alert. Yeah, so yeah, it's just a fucking stupid thing for them to think.
Yeah, I think it's a stupid argument, and yeah, you should focus on how good the movie is, though.
Just focus on how good TC looks.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys. We've talked ad nauseum at this point about how incredible TC is.
Yeah.
As a Hollywood force.
Sure. Maybe
A+ player.
Maybe the last true what's it called?
Movie star.
Movie star.
Yeah.
Maybe truly the last movie star in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think it's clear that he's aging. You see the lines on his face. But it works because I feel like they're embracing it and the roles are moving with him into his older age.
They're embracing it in the right way. They're
Yeah.
not trying to turn him into this like superhuman, age doesn't mean a thing to him kind of guy. I mean, the point is, the point of Maverick is that Maverick is a dinosaur.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, he's done. He's out the game. And he's a guy who's kind of holding on to that last sliver of like, well, how can I still be involved? How can I still make my mark? How can I still do these things that I enjoy? And you've got an entire body of the government that's like, you're done, dude.
Yeah.
We don't need you anymore.
Right.
It's ironic that they chose an even older actor as the person who is representative of what is the future. Not John Hamm's character, but having forgot his name. He's a good actor. Guy in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Super old dude.
Oh, no. Yeah, from
a ton of
a
shit,
ton of
but-
movies. Why am I not remembering his name?
I think he's in A History of Violence.
Yes, he is.
Kane? No, that's his character's name. Fuck. What is that actor's name?
I'm going to look it up, but continue your thought.
But it's funny that he is the guy chosen to represent the military moving on from the old school. It would make
Right.
more sense. It does make more sense that John Hamm's character is the guy who's like, I didn't even ask for you to be here.
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Ed Wood, but I was like, it's definitely
It's
not Ed Wood.
Good movie, though.
Ed Harris, fantastic actor.
Of course.
And he's in
Most
the beginning.
recently in Westworld, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's there to shut down the program. Their Mach 10.
I think it's smart in a way because it's like showing that other people can age with the system, and that Maverick is this outlier that just can't get past his past.
Yeah. It subverts the idea that I'm talking about, which is that it would have made more sense to have like Sam Rockwell come in and be like, "You're done. You're done."
That doesn't work as well for me.
No, it doesn't.
You know?
No,
it's cliche. It's like,
and it was smart to go with a guy like Ed Harris, who's like, "This is how things should be done. We don't want our boys out there dying. We don't want human error anymore. We have this technology. Why shouldn't we use it?"
Yeah.
It does make sense that a guy who's a lifelong military guy would be like, "Yeah, let's save the military bodies and money by using this technology."
Yep.
So I thought it was smart. But my initial thought was like, I guess I was so wrapped up in like how these movie cliches usually play out, which is like, it's funny that they didn't use like a younger actor to represent the new guard.
I kind of assumed Ed Harris's character would be this like, somebody on Maverick's side. That'd be like, I remember how the old times were.
You think he would have brought him into the office like, "Look, Mav, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. I get it."
That's exactly what I was expecting.
And he didn't.
No.
He's like, "I'm here to shut your ass down."
Yeah. Yeah.
You are so lucky you hit Mach 10, buddy.
Right.
Which that scene was so fucking cool.
Incredible.
What a way to open the movie.
What an opening.
What an opening.
What an opening.
Oh, man, it was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
He's fucking orbiting the Earth. It was awesome. It was so cool.
And so, I think there was a tweet that said this that was an interesting point. It's like they did all of that mostly with shots of control center and Tom Cruise in a cockpit shaking.
Yeah.
Like that's and doing this.
Yeah.
Moving the control up a little bit.
That's movie magic.
Incredible stuff.
How you can do that convincingly. Is there anything that you didn't like about the movie? We're at like an hour 8. I want
that it ended.
Yeah.
I
terrible
think,
for all of us.
Yeah, I think if I have to nitpick anything, because really I think it is one of the best modern action movies. I guess that some of the callbacks didn't completely hit for me because it seemed a little bit too on the nose. Like the scene of him being back at the bar and the new gang being there and him kind of observing as the old man out of time worked for me. It worked really well, but him playing the same exact song that his dad played and like basically recreating that scene to give Maverick PTSD was like it feels a little too on the nose, a little bit too much nodding to the original. Like we can get that without literally the same thing happening.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little too much.
And if you didn't get it, they fucking flash back to actual scenes from the
movie. Right,
so.
Which again hammered it home even more. I'm like, we don't need all this. We don't really need this.
Yeah.
I understand. Some people will be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and they need it, painted out for them to be like, "I remember when that happened."
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie needed it. If you're familiar at all with the original movie, you understand what's happening here.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think maybe he plays a different song, or maybe he just plays the piano? You definitely don't cut in scenes from the first movie to illustrate the point. I think you let it be what it is.
It took me out of it a little bit because you can see the distinct difference between film grades. Yeah, it's like really grainy, and then back to the new one. But
that's
I think it would have been more effective if if I'm sitting here rewriting the film, maybe he just sits there and plinks at the piano a little bit, and
maybe he does Great Balls of Fire, but just
just a little plays it, and it's not like a whole sing along, like it was. He sits there, is a little pensive, thinks about it, has a sad moment, face drops. Somebody calls him back to the bar, and he goes right back at it.
Yeah.
So you get it. You get the idea without it being
him sitting
so...
at the piano would have been enough of a flashback for Mav to like see him through the window and see him with the mustache and the glasses.
Sure.
Excuse me, and the shirt and everything.
Yeah.
Looking just like his dad. And then he sees them tickling the keys.
Yeah. Or even just
tickling the ivory.
dusting it off,
Yeah.
So, kind of touching it or something.
Yeah.
That's enough.
That would have been
for
enough.
me.
Yeah. A little more poetic,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, a little nitpicky.
Sure. I fully admit it. I still love the movie, but I think stuff like that took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah. I thought the third act was a little too improbable. Like, we got to a point where it was like, all right, I mean, somebody's got to die, right? There's no way that they're pulling this whole thing off.
Once they both ejected and landed in whatever nondescript country they're in,
yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening now? What are we doing?
And at that point, you go, oh, I'm fully invested.
Yeah.
Now. I'm not. And again, these are nitpicky things because there's no way I would have changed any of that third act. But it is like balls to the wall insane that they pull off that whole thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense, but I loved it anyway.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to think about. Like, there's no way that they survived that. There's no way.
Of course not.
No.
There's so many convenient circumstances to them surviving that.
Yeah.
But still, thrilling filmmaking. I mean, obvious. Okay, we know that people are going to look at it as just propaganda, just like the original was. There's no disputing that.
Yeah.
I
don't get the military propaganda thing. Maybe it's because I've just
you've been
watching.
brainwashed.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I mean, my parents were in the military, and I vehemently rejected that. So maybe that informs my opinion a little bit on this.
As we already discussed, you're lazy, so
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Fully admit that. I always get annoyed with that argument because I just don't get the urge to do anything regarding my country or the military or I understand that there are like instances like with the Marvel movies, for instance, where like the government actually gets involved with making those movies.
Yeah, they let them borrow some jets.
But maybe it's just me personally, and I'm not trying to be like I think for myself. You guys are idiots. I just don't
do your own research.
I just every time I see that argument, I'm just like, it's not really propaganda, in my opinion, because like propaganda makes these things seem like the best and only choice that you have in the face of some oncoming, unnamed, and unfaced threat, right? That's usually what propaganda is. It's like, this bad thing is going to happen, and your only choice is to do this thing. It's all you have, right? And not only is it all you have, but it's the best option. There's not a lot of options, but the best one is this, right? Yeah. Or it's like, those people are really shitty, and here's why, and you don't get the other facts and opinions on the other side. Whatever. When it comes to these like movies like Top Gun or like Captain America, for instance, there's always that instance where like you can just see. I mean, obviously these guys are having fun, right? But they still died. There's still danger. I don't think they ever make it seem like, army ads are propaganda. Those commercials are propaganda. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, don't you see the difference between like Captain America in those movies? I mean, there are instances where like he's very realistic, and I'm not caping for fucking Marvel movies and shit. I'm just saying I'm not convinced that those movies are made to elicit this undying loyalty to the American military.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. I think that what you're thinking of as propaganda is more in the thought of what it used to be, like for World War II, for instance, where it's
I guess it's
you know,
antiquated idea of
us
propaganda.
against them,
Yeah.
you know, and the American hero will always save the day.
Yeah.
I get that. But I think the argument against that is that, I mean, even war itself is a more complicated thing than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So inherently, the propaganda is going to be more complex too.
Mm.
So sure, our heroes are at risk, but inevitably, they are the victors.
Mm.
And it's never in doubt that they're the good guys.
Mm.
You see? So, you know, and having a nameless, faceless enemy to fight is also, I think, highly problematic if you're looking at the world as this, you know, human and whole place that's not American-centric, shall we say.
Yeah.
So we're coming from a place in Top Gun Maverick that Americans are always the good guys, infallibly the good guys. Sure, they mess up sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're going to win, especially against improbable odds, even though America is the, you know, top dog when it comes to militaries in the world.
America is the improbable odds.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's what people point to as it being propaganda.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're right. I guess my view of propaganda was a little old school, because I guess that does make sense, that we are like this unbleeding, undying force in the world of truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah.
Black Superman.
Black Superman.
And yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Still don't. I mean, I guess I just can't imagine a person in 2022 watching anything without taking, like, children, sure, but like
Yeah.
an adult, anybody around
even
our age, even people who are like 10 years younger.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even like teenagers at this point are so well versed on everything that I think
way more than we are.
I think you have an argument if this came out in, like, you know, 95.
Yeah.
You know?
But right now, I just don't see any kid, anybody watching it and being like convinced, like, oh shit, I want to be a fucking fighter pilot for the Navy, and I want to go out there and save the world.
I'm sure
like TC did.
Look, I'm sure some kids do get that impression after watching it.
Children.
I don't know. I mean, I think there are probably some kids in, you know, the middle of Kentucky or something where, you know, no offense to Kentucky, but, you know, that
fuck you, Kentucky.
don't have a lot of other opportunities, and they always sell the military to in that sort of circumstance where it's like, hey man, what are you gonna do? You know, you're from the small town, you don't have a lot of money, or you're from this big city, you don't have a lot of money.
But don't you think that would be the case anyway, even without Tom Cruise?
Sure. I'm not saying this is going to be the sole vehicle for them getting new recruits, but I am saying this is definitely going to help start the conversation at very least.
Yeah.
And be like, I want to be a fighter pilot.
I want to be the very best.
Yeah. I mean, because case in point, that's exactly what happened after the first Top Gun.
Yeah.
Mind you, that was in the 80s.
But right.
You know, kids were less informed, didn't have the internet at their fingertips, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm saying Top Gun Maverick was really cool and a good movie and a very well-made movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think with all those things together, I could definitely see some younger, impressionable people who maybe already had an inkling of wanting to be part of the military being like, I want to be part of the Navy and I want to fly planes.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Maybe we've just aged out of being influenced by any kind of media like that.
Oh, we certainly have, my friend. They don't want us. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. Can you imagine like the liberal, jaded, cynical, just a bunch of 30-somethings with grays in their beard going, I don't want to fucking be here.
2 fat podcasters join the army.
What could go wrong? Everything will go wrong. I'll press all the wrong buttons on purpose.
Is this record?
Don't give me the launch codes.
No.
They're launching tonight.
They've been in worse hands.
Yeah, I guess they have. And we made it, right? We made
Yeah,
it,
so
right?
far. The decade's young.
I want to be the
Very best.
whatever was
Boom, boom, boom.
to catch them is my real test. Trade them is my car.
Fun fact, I had that CD.
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the...
What else was on it? Did they have like the Squirtle rap?
I mean, they definitely had the Pokemon rap.
Yeah, the Pokemon rap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geodude, Pikachu.
Uh-huh. No, they definitely had that. I don't know what the rest of it was, though.
Well, it's got to be the theme song, the
Yeah.
Pokemon rap, probably all of the musical themes from each town.
Yeah.
I don't know what other vocal thing could be on there.
I'm sure there's something weird they put in the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that is one of the only vehicles that started the way that it did and went the way that it did, right? Because it was an anime that they turned into a video game.
No, it was a video game that they turned to an anime.
Yes. Flip that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they had, like, it was this weird, like... Because usually it starts off as like a manga that explodes and becomes
Sure.
everything else that it becomes.
Then they turn it into an anime, and then it becomes a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you get the movie, then you get the live action thing, then
Yeah.
you get the plush toys and all that stuff. But this one starts off as like this simple JRPG,
Monster Collector, yeah.
and then becomes all this other shit.
And then a card game.
So wait, what was first?
I think
was the card game
I
first?
think the video game was first. I'm going to do some research.
we need to know.
I'm
now.
going to do my own research. Yeah.
Do my own research. But no, because the video game was first because it was created by Nintendo. Right? Fuck, I don't know if I can know anymore.
The video games came first.
Yeah, because Nintendo had their hands in it.
Yeah.
What came first?
Yeah, because I remember, didn't the OG games come out in like the 90s?
The OG game came out, if I'm not mistaken, in late 96, early 97. Don't quote me. Quote me, though.
Pokemon game come out. 96.
Oh,
Early
96.
Early 96. Yeah.
I said 96, but I said late 96. I don't feel good about my answer anymore.
That's all right. It's fine. You got it. You didn't go over, so that's what
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
You still get the money.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, now we're just... I mean, we talk about Pokemon for the next, like, hour and a half if you want.
We definitely could.
But let's just cut it here. I think we got a good, nice little episode for the people out
Yeah.
there. You can take this and you can listen to this anytime that you need to, whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling like the world is just crushing you, and you just want to turn it all off for a second. And you know what? I have an hour and a half to spare. Not of despair, but an hour and a half to spare.
Oh, he's spitting now.
Uh-huh. And what I want to do with that hour and a half is I just want to enjoy myself, and I want to listen to two
Be nice.
brown round
Kings.
mounds of rebound.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Just talk about all the things that they've been enjoying in this week this week of the Lord, June, late June. By the time you're hearing this, we'll probably be in July.
We'll definitely be in July.
So, this is what we were enjoying in late June
Yeah.
of 2022. So, right?
Yeah.
All right. No reason to do a cheers of the week because this was literally a cheers of the week. Do you have anything that you do want to cheers to?
I'm gonna pander,
A pander away.
but I'm gonna say for women who've had it very rough for a very long time.
Some would say forever.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, it must suck to be a woman.
You just undermined my entire cheers. But that's fine.
I didn't undermine it. You could still do your thing.
It's like I put a cupcake on the table and then you just chucked it off.
No, I mean it has.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Let's review the beers.
No. Let's go back. Let's rewind and let's try again. Cheers.
It matters this time.
It does matter this time. Oh, it mattered before too.
Okay. Thank you.
It still matters. It always matters. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it with that because, in all seriousness, the only reason that we're even doing this episode the way that we're doing it is because of the.
I mean, there's more than a few elephants in the room right now.
Right,
So.
right. And believe you me, we're not ignoring them so much as trying to provide a space for people to just enjoy themselves for a little while until they have to venture back out into the world and continue facing a barrage of what seems like endless
Bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is our gift to you guys. Hopefully it helps.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's review these brewskis.
Let's do it.
So, from the Wynwood Brewing Company, the Pops Porter.
Robust porter.
Obi, what'd you think?
I love it. I think it's very, very, very good. Very flavorful. Not too much. It rides that edge of, having a ton of flavor, but also not being like overly sweet, overly chocolatey, really overly anything. I think it hits right up against that guardrail. And, you're the porter guy. I'm not the porter guy. But speaking as not the porter guy, this is a refreshing return to the porter type that we haven't had in a while. So I'm going to give it a 5. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah. This was certainly a labor of love, as noted by the description on the beer, what it is, why it was made in the first place. I mean, perfect, just crack them open, it's light, you can, it's not one of those like cold weather porters.
Yeah, it comes in at 6.2%, so lower end of those darker beers.
And you can feel it, man. It's an easy drinker, but it's more, to me, I really like, I like Box, I like dark lagers, I like stuff like that that's like maltier, hint of caramel, maybe chocolate, but kind of light. You can still toss them back. This is right there in that same vein. I'm biased. I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
Nice. I like it.
I am. I'm gonna give it 5.5. All right. Think we got it?
I know we got it.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, I want to apologize. I feel like I did undermine your point a little bit, and I feel bad.
Don't apologize to me.
No,
Apologize to the women.
I apologize to you guys too. I don't want to undermine the seriousness of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But also, that's the point of this fucking show. Not to undermine, but to try to subvert. I guess.
Yes. Make not even make light, but just
no. But when you have a point, I don't want to shit on the point being made.
it's okay.
I could disagree, but I don't want to shit on it.
You disagree with cheersing to
No,
Is that what you're saying, Marco?
That's not what I meant to say. This has been the one beer. No, I do just want to apologize. I'm sorry.
You're fine. We all forgive you.
Well,
Me and the women.
yeah. Well, talk to certain women.
I can't speak for women, so
Not for all
you
of
guys.
them.
Let us know in the comments.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. I have enough troubles as it is. This has been the One Beer In podcast. For myself, Marco Dupa. I'm not bald. I shaved my head. You understand? And for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.
Lost to
Yep.
me.